Our fifth organelle of the cell is mitochondria. Now, electricity is required to run fans, computer, electric bulb, etc. This energy is produced in the power station. Same way, our body also requires energy to do work. So that energy is produced in the mitochondria. In short, it is the powerhouse of the cell. Whatever energy is there, it is produced in the mitochondria. That is why there is a statement that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Now, if you will see the diagram of mitochondria or how it looks, so the structure of mitochondria is a double membrane structure. You have an inner membrane and you have an outer membrane. And in between the inner and outer membrane, we have a space that is called as the intermembrane space. जो दो membrane के बीच का space रहेगा, that is called as the intermembrane space. Now the outer membrane which is there, it is porous, and the inner membrane here, it is folded. Now here also you can find that the inner membrane which is there, it is having folds. So the inner membrane is folded and the outer membrane is porous. Also the folds which are there, these folds, these are called as cisternae. The inner cavity which is there, it is having the matrix. Now matrix is nothing but it has ribosomes, it has phosphate granules, it has DNA. It is also like a gel. So inside we have a proteinaceous gel that is made up of a lot amount of proteins. So we have a proteinaceous gel that is called as the matrix. So this is the structure of mitochondria. We have inner membrane, we have outer membrane. These folds are called as cisternae. Inside we have the gel that is called as the matrix, which consists of the ribosomes, phosphate granules, DNA, etc. Now, what is the function of mitochondria? So, mitochondria carry out the oxidation of carbohydrates and fats in the cell. So, all the oxidation of carbohydrates and fats in the cell is done in the mitochondria. Now, this produces energy in the form of ATP. So, ATP is adenosine triphosphate, and the produced energy is then stored in the mitochondria in the form of ATP, and the energy which is produced, it can also can be utilized for our body. Now, as mitochondria, so the mitochondria are absent in the RBC. We have RBC cells. So in those the mitochondria are absent. The oxygen transported by RBC don't use this oxygen due to lack of mitochondria. So as the mitochondria is less, so that is why it is present in all the parts of the cell except the RBC. Sixth organelle is the vacuole. Now vacuoles are of huge size in the plant cell, but in the animal cell they are very small. They are sac-like structures, and as these sac-like structures are very big in plant cell, all the different organelles are pushed towards the end. Now what are these sacs? So these are the storage sacs for solid or the liquid substances. So all these liquid and solid substances are stored in this sac. And if you see, there is no typical size of the sac. The size of the sac, it differs according to the cell and the cell type. Now the structure, if you will see, the size, it changes according to the need of the cell. And if you will see, it has only one membrane, so it is made up of only a single membrane. Now, what is the function of vacuole? So vacuole, it maintains the osmotic pressure of the cell. If we talk about the animal cell and if we talk about amoeba, so in food vacuole of amoeba, the food is stored, that is temporarily stored till digestion in the vacuole. And in other animal cells, the vacuole can also store waste products and the food. The vacuoles in the plant cell can provide the rigidity to the cell, the turgidity to the cell, and as it contains a good amount of cell sap. Cell sap is nothing but the fluid which is produced in the cytoplasm. So all of this is stored in the vacuole of the plant. Our seventh organelle is the chloroplast or the plastid. Now these chloroplasts, they are double membrane on the inner and the outer side. Now these chloroplasts are only present in the plant cell. In the animal cell, the chloroplast is not present, as we do not prepare our own food. For that reason, it is not present in the animal cell. Now chloroplast, it contains chlorophyll. They carry out the process of photosynthesis, and they convert the solar energy into the chemical energy in the form of food. Talking about the structure of the plastid or the chloroplast, they have two membrane, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. They have thylakoid. You can find that round coin-like structures, thylakoids are there. So those thylakoids, inside them there is granum, or you can say the grana, which is present. And these have the photosynthetic pigments in them. So these pigments helps in photosynthesis. And the stroma which is there, the stroma, it contains the enzymes, the DNA, the ribosomes, carbohydrates, which all of this is necessary for the photosynthesis. So thylakoid, stroma, granum, all of this helps in the photosynthesis. Now there are three types of plastids which are present: the chloroplast, the chromoplast and the leucoplast. Now the chloroplast, it is green in color and it converts the solar energy to chemical energy during photosynthesis. Then we also have chromoplast, which is colored plastid, and it gives different colors to the flowers and fruit. You can find they are of different colors, so that is because of the chromoplast. Then we also have the leucoplast, or we can also say the colorless plastid. So this is only for the synthesis of storage of the food like starch, oils and protein. It do not give any type of color to the plant. So the two things are there, that is chloroplast and chromoplast. Chloroplast gives green color, chromoplast, which it is giving the colors, that is flower and fruits gets color from the chromoplast. And third is the leucoplast, which do not give color. It is for the synthesis or the storage of food. Now, just a revision about eukaryotes and prokaryotes. This you all must have already learned in your previous class. So, if we talk about prokaryotes, prokaryotes do not have a nucleus. Instead of nucleus, they have nucleoid. The chromosome number of prokaryotes is always 1. The membrane-bound cell organelles are also absent. Cell organelles are there, but they do not have any membrane. The size of the cell is usually from 1 to 10 micrometers, and these are the example. If you say the prokaryotes are the bacteria. Next are the eukaryotes. Now eukaryotes, they have the nucleus and they also have the nuclear membrane. They have chromatin networks inside the nuclear membrane. They also have nucleus. Whatever we have talked about, those are everything is there in the eukaryotes. The chromosome number, if we talk about, the chromosome number is more than 1, and it is also not same for all the species. It differs according to the species. Now there are membrane bound cell organelles like the ribosome. They also have the membrane. The mitochondria has the membrane. Endoplasmic has the membrane. Nucleus has the membrane. So all of the organelles have membrane. So they are called as the membrane bound cell organelles. Also, the size of these cells is from 5 to 100 micrometers. Now, all the evolved unicellular and multicellular plants and animals, all of them come under the eukaryotes.